At just 10 years old, I didn't lose my home. I lost my entire existence. My name is Ethan Cole, and if you think abandonment is just being left alone, you have no idea what real betrayal feels like. New York City, the city that never sleeps, but somehow it never saw me either. That night still lives inside me. Cold wind cutting through my skin, rain hitting the pavement like bullets, and my small hand slipping from my mother's grip. I remember looking up at her. "Mom, where are we going?" She didn't answer. My father stood beside her, silent, emotionless. Then suddenly they stopped walking. My mom knelt down, not to hug me, not to comfort me, but to remove my hand from hers. And then they walked away. No explanation, no goodbye, no turning back. I stood there frozen, thinking it was some kind of joke. "They'll come back," I whispered to myself. Minutes passed, then hours. Then the rain stopped, but they didn't come back. That was the moment I realized I wasn't lost, I was left. The next few days were a blur of hunger, fear, and confusion. I waited at the same spot for 3 days. 3 days. A 10-year-old kid believing his parents would return. But New York doesn't wait for anyone, and it definitely doesn't care about a broken child. Hunger hit first, then fear, then reality. I started walking. No destination, no purpose, just survival. I begged outside stores, got ignored. I tried talking to people, they avoided eye contact, like I didn't exist, like I was already gone. The first time I stole food, I cried while eating it. Not because I felt guilty, but because I realized this was my life now. Nights were the worst. Sleeping under bridges, hiding behind dumpsters, wrapping myself in trash just to stay warm. Every sound felt like danger. Every shadow looked like death. And yet I survived. Days turned into months, months into years, and slowly that scared little boy disappeared. In his place, something else was growing, something colder, something stronger. I started learning how to read people, how to fight, how to survive without trusting anyone, because trust was the thing that destroyed me. But one thing never changed. One question kept burning inside me. Why? Why me? Why did they leave me? What did I do wrong? And that question turned into something dangerous. Not sadness, not weakness, but a mission. I stopped crying for them. I stopped waiting. Instead, I started remembering their faces, their voices, their betrayal, because deep down I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't the end of my story. This was just the beginning. And one day, I wouldn't be the boy they abandoned. I would be the man they feared. If you think this story ends here, you're not ready for what comes next. Because the day I found them changed everything. Make sure you subscribe, because part 2 will hit harder than anything you've heard. I spent years looking for answers, but when I finally found them, I realized something terrifying. Some truths are worse than lies. By the time I turned 25, I wasn't that street kid anymore. I was sharp, focused, dangerous in a way people couldn't understand. I started from nothing. Small jobs, cleaning, carrying boxes, doing anything just to survive. But I never stayed small. I watched people, learned business, studied money, understood power, and slowly I built something. My first company failed. My second almost destroyed me, but the third had changed everything. By 30, I had money. By 35, I had power. But none of it filled the hole inside me, Because no matter how successful I became, that one question still followed me. Why did they leave me? So I started searching. Old records, addresses, connections, anything that could lead me to them. Years passed, and then one day I found them. A peaceful house in New Jersey. Clean, beautiful, perfect, like nothing ever happened, like I never existed. I stood outside their house, watching, waiting, breathing heavily. This was it. The moment I had dreamed about for years. I walked up to the door and knocked. My heart was racing. The door opened, and there she was, my mother, older but the same. For a second, she didn't recognize me. And that destroyed me more than anything else. "Can I help you?" she asked politely, like I was a stranger. I smiled slightly. "You already did years ago when you left me to die." Her face froze. My father appeared behind her, and when he saw me, everything went silent. No hugs, no tears, no apology, just discomfort, awkwardness. Like I was a mistake they thought was gone forever. Then I noticed something, 2 kids running inside the house. Laughing, happy, loved, my siblings. That's when it hit me, they didn't hate being parents. They just didn't want me. And that truth was more painful than being abandoned. But what they did next was something I never expected. Something that changed my entire life. If you think this is where I got justice, no. Because the real betrayal was still coming. Subscribe now because part 3 will make your blood boil. I thought finding them would give me answers, but instead, it gave me a reason for revenge. A few weeks after that meeting, I received something unexpected. A wedding invitation. My sister's wedding. At first, I didn't believe it. Why would they invite me? After everything, but deep down a small part of me hoped. Maybe this was their way of fixing things. Maybe they finally regretted what they did. So I went. Not as the broken child they abandoned, but as someone they could never control again. The venue was massive. Luxury everywhere. People laughing, celebrating, living the life I never had. I walked in confident, calm, invisible, until my mother saw me. Her smile disappeared instantly. She rushed toward me. "What are you doing here?" I showed her the invitation. "You invited me." Her expression changed from shock to anger. "You shouldn't be here." Those words hit deeper than anything. My father joined her. "Don't make a scene, people here don't know about you." About me? Like I was a secret, a shame, something to hide. I looked around at the life they gave someone else, the love they never gave me, and something inside me snapped. Then they said it, the one sentence that changed everything. "You'll embarrass us." Embarrass them. I felt my fists tighten. But I didn't react. I didn't shout, I didn't cry, I just stood there and smiled. Because in that moment I understood everything. I wasn't abandoned by accident. I was rejected on purpose. Security walked toward me. And just like that, I was thrown out, again. Standing outside, hearing the music, watching their happiness continue without me, I felt something change inside me. Not pain, not anger, something colder, something permanent. That night I made a decision. I wouldn't beg for love anymore. I wouldn't ask for answers. I wouldn't chase them. I would rise so high that one day they would come to me. And when they did, I wouldn't be the same person. If you think this was the end, you're wrong. Because years later, they came back. And what I did next, no one expected. Subscribe because the final part is the real revenge. People think revenge is loud, but the most powerful revenge is silence. Years passed, I didn't look back. I didn't chase them, I built. Relentlessly. Business after business. Investment after investment. I turned pain into power. Failure into fuel. By 50, I was a billionaire. By 60, I was untouchable. And by 65, I had everything except one thing, closure. Then one day it happened. They came back. The same people who left me were now standing in my office. Older, weaker, broken, my mother's voice shook. "Ethan, we need your help." Help. The same word I once begged for. Now coming from them, I looked at them carefully. These weren't my parents anymore, just strangers with familiar faces. My father stepped forward. "We made mistakes." I smiled slowly. "No, you made a choice." Silence filled the room. They expected anger. They expected shouting. But I gave them something worse. Nothing. No help. No forgiveness. No emotions. Just emptiness. The same emptiness they gave me when I needed them the most. As they turned to leave, I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt peace. Because revenge isn't about destroying them. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs them. And me, I wasn't that abandoned boy anymore. I was something else. Something they could never reach. Something they could never understand. And that was my real revenge. If this story hit you, don't forget to subscribe. Because real stories like this aren't just told, they're felt.